All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thanks in advance for everyone joining us today for Litera's webinar on lawyers as word processors. I'm going to go ahead and kick things off. Today's session will be recorded, so if one of your colleagues wasn't able to attend today's session, no worries, we are recording today's webinar. Just quickly, we'll go through introductions. I am Matt Miller, Director of Product Management here at Litera. I'm joined by one of my colleagues. I'll let Krista introduce herself.
Hey everyone, I'm Krista Forgione. I am a product owner here at Litera. I mostly work on the Create products, but I also oversee DocXtools and DocXtools Companion as well.
Great, so those will be the two voices leading through today's webinar. Just a couple housekeeping items. Everybody is on mute by default, so you can't talk to us, but you can chat us. So if you do have a question, feel free to chat it within the chat area of the GoToWebinar. We'll pick those questions up at the end, and that kind of is the last housekeeping item, Q&A. After, we should go about 20, 25 minutes in terms of total length, and then with the last 5 minutes, we'll look to take or pick up those questions. If for some reason we don't get to your question, we will follow up with you directly post-webinar. The agenda for today, we want to talk about the evolution of the market. So we're talking about lawyers as word processors today. How have we gotten there? We're also going to be doing a demonstration of some new DocXtools Companion capabilities that we call guided mode for both some numbering and cross-referencing capabilities. Why did we build those particular features? And how did we get to the rationale behind building those particular features? So we want to kind of take a trip down memory lane and talk about the evolution of that particular user base and that particular product line and how we got to where we are today. And then we'll just bring up some quick stats about technology and law firms. The more and more you're reading, pretty much any publication today is talking about lawyers wanting to use more applications, to be more efficient with the applications they're using within Microsoft Word. And we'll go through a demonstration after that. Chris is going to show us DocXtools Companion's guided numbering capabilities, as well as a sneak peek of our guided cross-referencing functionality that we'll be releasing at the end of our Q1 release for Litera. All right, so this is, I want to take, as I mentioned, a kind of a trip down memory lane here. And really the importance of working with problematic documents hasn't changed. I'm going back to 1997. I'll start to put some flags in the timeline here in a second. But the importance of working with these problematic documents hasn't changed. Really what we've seen is a shift in who is working on these documents in the traditional fashion. And again, going back to a lot of the publications that are out there, really a day doesn't go by that you don't read about the necessity for attorneys to be utilizing technology from a differentiator standpoint, and all these different technologies out there doing different types of things. How does one truly become proficient, even for the most technically adept user? So in terms of the evolution of our user group, as well as the technology itself, I wanted to go back to WordPerfect to word conversion days. This is really where DocXtools, then it was called DocXamine, really, or DocExchange even back then, was kind of born out of this conversion from WordPerfect to Word. And this was at a point in time when law firms wanted to convert over to Microsoft Word. They needed a utility to batch convert these files. It was largely, I would say, experts, the WordPerfect experts, the Word experts using this application, but usually largely doing these things in batch. If we kind of jump forward to the 2004-2008 timeframe, now we're on Word. People are in Microsoft Word getting creative with how to apply styles and format documents. And we don't just need a batch utility to help us convert from WordPerfect to Word. What we need is utilities to help us solve formatting problems that are being introduced into documents. And really, DocXtools was in its heyday at this point. So there's a ton of individual cleanups and cleanup capabilities and big macro routines that DocXtools was rolling out to help you all, everybody on the phone, with the problems you were seeing from a document formatting perspective, to clean up those documents one by one within Microsoft Word. And this is really kind of the heyday of where we saw a lot of new cleanups and capabilities being introduced. But the core user here is still primarily Power Word users, word processing teams, and those types of folks. Then in, I'd say, late 2007, early 2008, Microsoft flipped the file extension on us again. We kind of moved from that .doc file extension to DocX. This was also they're moving from toolbars to ribbons. And the doc to DocX functionality was, we did see a lot of users want to move in back, but what we really saw was two things here. One, this wasn't going to be as heavy as a conversion as it was from WordPerfect to Word. Yes, the file extension was changing, and with the file extension changes, we definitely saw compatibility issues and format and layout issues occurring, which is why DocXtools added the ability to have a doc to DocX conversion cleanup macro as part of its product line. But the people who were running these routines was starting to change. It wasn't necessarily all just power users of Word or power users of DocXtools. More and more people at the law firms wanted to be able to, they're opening a legacy document, they needed to start working with it right away, and they wanted to become a little more independent. So not only were we creating new functionality, but the functionality needed to be very simple. And this is that doc to DocX routine, if folks I'm sure on the phone remember it and had run it in the past, was just a single button click. You clicked it and it kind of was magic, and it allowed you to move the file extension and handled any compatibility and formatting and layout issues that might occur if you were to just do a standard file save as to the new file extension. So during that time, we were also continuing to talk to our customer base and listen to the community. And what you continue to see is like there were common problems the end users were still trying to solve, largely around numbering, table of contents, and cross-references. Those were the three that kept coming up either through our support line or as we were talking to customers, those were the big three that were coming up. And those are complex issues of being able to apply a multi-level list numbering scheme or multiple numbering schemes to a document, the ability to link cross-references in a document, the ability to build a table of contents based on numbered styles or differing multi-level lists in a document is a complex task. But more and more, the user of who wanted to do that was shifting a bit. And we kind of saw that in 2017. Ton of market data around the workforce is shifting. We have a younger generation of people now employed at our law firms. They've kind of grown up with technology. They want the technology at their fingertips. And so DocXtools Companion, not only were we heavily doing research and development, but we released it, and its initial version capabilities were all around one-click quick helper functionality. So you could just click, if you had numbering problems in the document, you'd click the numbering button and it would fix it. If you had cross-referencing issues or needed to build cross-references, you could click cross-references and they would automatically build those capabilities or build the linking. Same thing with TOC. Click the button, it automatically builds the TOC. What we continue to hear from the market is that's great, but when the rubber hits the road, our users, those end users, the attorneys who are really trying to pick up using that particular application, they're risk-averse people by nature. That's why they became attorneys. So would there be a way, with still simplifying the application, you've created a great framework here. It's a simple-to-use application that both my end users as well as power users can use, but can we slow it down a little bit and give a little bit more control back to the users? So at the end of 2019, we released our guided numbering capabilities, which again, we'll give a demonstration of here in a moment if you haven't seen it. And what we're working on right now as part of our Q1 release for DocXtools Companion is a guided cross-referencing experience to help solve that customer demand, which is, can we slow things down a bit for our users to still give them the power of DocXtools, but in a simplified form that they can use, really they being all users at our firm. I could have brought up quite a few stats. These to me were kind of the two biggest ones that I wanted to talk about. So this is in 2018-2019 Aderant Business of Law and Legal Technology Survey. And the question is, what will have the greatest potential to drive efficiency? And the top two responses that we can see here are automating routine tasks and workflow automation. And that's when we really look at DocXtools Companion. That's where we see a lot of the benefit is. If you have to go through the document very painstakingly and create a cross-reference instance by instance, or have to build a TOC in a pretty slow, methodical way using native Word, that is, that's slowing the user down from an efficiency standpoint. So when we look at developing the technologies we've come out with or coming out with, it really just needs to help the attorney and the law firms work better and make their lives easier. And so as we, and it dovetails nicely with these particular stats from Aderant, which are continuing to automate these routine tasks, and then these workflows that the users are going through, how best can we automate that? And so again, numbering, table of contents, and cross-references were always kind of the big three that people were constantly getting stuck on, that workflow needed to be automated as much as possible. So with that, what I'm going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and kick it over to Krista. She's going to walk us through really two functions of our new guided capabilities. That'll be guided numbering, as well as the new sneak peek. Some of you may have seen it. We've been showing it a bit, getting feedback from the market, but the guided cross-referencing functionality not out yet. It will be part of our Q1 release that's coming up on April 7th. So with that, I'm going to turn presentation rights over to Krista to give us a walkthrough of that particular functionality.
Right, so I will show my screen momentarily now. All right, I will get started. So right now I have a document open. This is typically what we do show when we are going over and going through demonstrations of different documents that we go through. So this is just a standard master services agreement document that we have that we usually test with. So with that, I'm going to go through our guided numbers. I have DocXtools Companion downloaded with guided numbering turned on. So I will go ahead and click this just to demonstrate what our guided numbering capabilities will do. You'll see that our task pane will open on the side here, and the document will also start populating the issues within the task pane over here. So that with that loading dialog that appeared over here, it's just the product taking a look through the document and scanning for issues. So it did find an issue. I do have one list template style that I am using within this document. So it has noticed and started highlighting some entries here. You'll notice when I click down, it'll show me an expanded definition view of what could be happening within my document. I'm going to have a repeated number. Some numbers should be out of order. There's typed numbering styles within here. It will find those within my document. On the right here, you'll just notice that it'll show me the levels within the list template style that I have defined in this document as well, along with more or less a red-green stoplight that we have been building into the product as well too, to show me exactly where the problem areas are within my document. And if I click down here, you'll notice that I have 3 issues. So the first one being this first one here, the next one being 1.2, and the final being 1.3 down here. So all those instances will be highlighted within the document, and it will navigate you to those instances as well too. So what the product does today, it allows users to take a step back, as Matt was saying, look through their document and see where they can fix their document and check essentially if their document is in good standing order. So I'll hit fix exactly what the product does. It automates whatever list template style that I'm using. As you can see in the document here, it has fixed my numbering styles to be in order with the rest of my document. So everything looks good here. And I also have these actions available at the bottom here. If I did have more than one list template style within the task pane here, I'd be able to check all and have the same actions available down here, but just en masse. So with that, I have skip and fix down here, as well as reporting capabilities with guided numbers. So with that, I'm going to move over to cross-references to show a sneak peek of what we are working on in this quarterly release. So again, I will click that button. That dialog will load and show a task pane over here with possible cross-reference issues within the document. So as you can see here, I have a reference to section 1.1 in the first paragraph. As soon as I click onto this issue to check this out, which is a section types, it's not linked currently, it'll show me exactly where it is in the document down here, highlight that, as well as give me a split task pane view to show me exactly in the document where it thinks I would like to assign my cross-reference target to. So again, we're just taking a lot of this automation that we do have today with DocXtools Companion and walking the user back to slow down the process and to also give a little bit more control to a lot of our users' hands, which is what has been asked for within the market today. So if I go and look here, I can see that it's already recognized that I want to link to section 1.1 through the document, but I'm also able to drop this list down and view the numbering scheme within the document here as well too, and choose other possible target candidates for my cross-reference within the document as well too. Since this is the correct section that I want to link to, I'm going to go ahead and hit assign, and it'll link that automatically and change this to no issues found and create a check mark in the section for me. Again, there are mass actions down here as well too. So if I would like to check all of these instances and assign en masse all of our target references to these issues, I'm able to do so down here. And I'm also able to skip any instance as well within the document in here as well too. So with that being said, this is what we have so far in flight for guided cross-references, and this will be shipping next month with our 11.6 release on April 7.
Great. All right, thank you, Krista. I'll take presentation rights back here. All right, so just to kind of wrap up, and then we'll take questions. If questions are coming in through the chat, we'll go ahead and gather those up and get those answered here as well. But just to wrap up again, the importance of working with problematic documents hasn't changed, but who is working on these documents is really the key factor here. So we kind of looked at the timeline over history with our conversion from WordPerfect to Word, and then the evolution to how we got to DocXtools Companion, even to the state that it is today from a guided experience. We see more and more that lawyers are wanting to do this type of work. The importance of solving these complex document issues hasn't changed. It's still absolutely there. These problems will probably exist forever. It is Microsoft Word that we're dealing with, but the applications continue to evolve to better suit the types of people who are getting more and more involved with these particular types of documents. So hopefully with the demonstration that Krista showed, that gets you guys excited about some of the new upcoming capabilities for DocXtools Companion that we've got in Q1. Hopefully you've even had a chance to download the Q4 release that had the guided numbering capabilities and play with that a bit. It's been quite popular by most of our customer base. With that, I'm just going to pause for probably 30 seconds, gather up the questions that have been coming in, and we'll be right back for the Q&A session. All right, looks like we had just a couple questions come in. I think this one came in right at the outset as I was announcing we'd be showing one of the new particular features, but just the question is, when was the new guided cross-referencing feature piece going to be released? That will be April 7th, so all of our software, not just DocXtools Companion, has a Q1 release of April 7th, so do look for that notification from Litera, but it will be available on our Customer Center on the 7th for use. The next question here was just around guided numbering and the potential to integrate firm-specific styles and how that's done. So for guided numbering, for guided experience in general, as part of the installation process, there's a new checkbox that asks if you want to go into guided mode. You'll check that box. On the next screen during the installation process, it'll ask to point to the folder or network location where your templates or style collection lives. And so that's all you need to do is point the installer, the application to that particular network location or location on the user's machine, and the software will do the rest. It will automatically look at that location anytime you analyze the document or choose to fix the document at that collection of styles and work out which ones need to be applied for you in the document. Let's see. I'll take probably just one more question here. The last question here we'll take for today is just around TOC. So we've got guided capabilities. I see you've got guided capabilities for numbering and cross-references. Is there a thought to add the table of contents functionality? The answer is yes. That is actually, so I guess it's another sneak peek as to what we'll be working on in Q2 for DocXtools Companion. We'll be adding kind of finishing off the guided experience capability set with TOC. So in Q2, we'll be adding a guided capability set, which will most likely open a task pane, allow you to create one or multiple tables of contents in a very simplified manner. If you're interested in being part of that early feedback program, feel free to shoot us emails, and we'd love to get you involved as we develop that particular piece of product. That's all the questions I had for today. As mentioned, today's webinar was recorded. It will be on Latera.com under the resources section if you did need to access it there. You'll also be able to find any of our previous webinars that we've hosted, as well as any up and coming webinars that we've got have coming up on the books. Again, really appreciate everybody joining today. If we didn't get to your question, we will follow up with you directly. Thanks again, and have a great day.